Conference will now be recorded.
I'll call to order the regular December 1st, 2025 council meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Dale, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Glad you're on Zoom with us tonight. So any additions or corrections to the agenda?
No, sorry.
Okay, anyone want to make a motion to accept the agenda as written?
So moved.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilor Weller. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, I don't have a mayor's report tonight. Any presentations? No. Any councilor committee meeting reports tonight? Okay. Topics on the floor.
I have one.
Okay.
Greg Brody.
Greg Brody. Welcome, Greg.
Hello. Counselors and staff, good to be back here. About a year ago, I stood in this room and introduced myself to all of you as the fire chief for Vernonia. At that time, I said I would make it my effort to come and visit you guys on a regular basis. I failed. So that is why I'm here once again to reestablish myself, let you know that as a fellow public safety worker here in Vernonia, I'm committed to being a part of this community, to helping out, to be part of the team that's providing services to our citizens, because that's what we're here for. So thank you for the time for listening to me, and I'll do my best to make it a more regular thing to come. There's three things on my mind today that I wanted to just give you guys a real quick update from the fire district. First of all, for those of you reading Vernonia, well, this stuff, before I get started, the first is stuff that we put out on Vernonia Waste on our Facebook page and stuff like that. I think our public information officer does a fantastic job of spreading the word and the good things that we got going around the fire district. The word that comes to mind right now within our fire district is stability. We have a great deal of stability right now in our fire district. And as an administrator and probably as a fire district board member too, and you guys can certainly understand that stability is a nice thing. When we get out of our board meetings that last 42 to 50 minutes, we know things are going well. So things are actually going very, very well for us as a fire district. We've got no real issues up ahead, and none that come up. I'm smart enough to know that things will happen, and we'll do it as they come along. But the stability is the word that I created, and we've got that going for us. The first thing I wanted to bring up to you, and I mentioned this briefly with Josette here a month or two ago, is that one of the things that we're exploring is putting in a permanent life flight landing pad at the airport. And after talking with Josette, she said to get in touch with the airport manager out there. So I've had some good conversations with Mike Seeger out there, and we walked around, we looked at some areas. I've talked to him. I've talked to the life flight staff, had some pilots, and one of their outreach members come out and take a look and determine what they thought would be best for us. The reason that we're doing this is that commonly we've landed life flight at Spencer Park in the past. And there's two concerns that come to mind right there. One was brought to me by a pilot, and that was when they were coming in one night. It was just a little bit of fog. And they can't see the tops of the old lights, the old football field lights. They can't see the tops of it. It makes them a little bit nervous. And the other thing is that because, obviously, like most public agencies, we are shorthanded. We may not have the resources dedicated to put somebody there to talk to life flight as they're coming in and talk to them on the radio and guide them into a safe landing. That presents a security problem for the pilots and the crews for life flight. And so one of the things that we talked about was moving our primary place to land life flight out to the airport. That works for us in two ways. Number one, we can easily call up our Lifeline dispatch and say, land at the Vernonia Airport, and they don't need directions, they don't need addresses, they don't need cross streets, it punches right in their GPS and their helicopter, they can go right there. The second thing is that because it's isolated area, we don't really need the level of security that if we don't have anyone able to land our helicopters, that we can just, they can land there by themselves and just wait for us to show up with the patient. So we identified a location out there, and just today I had two different contractors come out there today to kind of look the site over. And it's going to require some excavation, some leveling of the property out there. It's going to be right, basically, when you're coming into the airport area right there, if you turn left, you go up to the city park, you go straight ahead, goes up towards the hangar. You know what I'm talking about, that Y? It's going to be right there. And we're just going to put a 40 by 40 concrete or asphalt pad right there. I've talked to Ruler today about maybe running some power out there to put some lights on there as well. And we have to worry about some gradients and some runoff and things like that should come to fruition. I have an eye on a grant to take care of this for us. It'll probably take care of 90% of it, I'm hoping. We'll cobble up a way to finish off that final 10%. But I think it'd be a benefit for our community that we have this available soon. For those of you who are by the fire station down there on Highway 26, the Horseshoe Fire Station down there, they've got one pretty much identical to what I'm looking at to putting on at the airport. So hopefully in the city fire district partnership, we can get this going. We're going to present, once I get plans, we're going to present them both to Josette or whoever she wants me to get them to, as well as the airport. We've got I don't think they call it commission, but
Committee.
committee, yes, that wants to look them over and we'll make whatever changes are there. The next thing I want to bring up to you is one that we have an impact on the city, and that is last month our our fire district board of directors approved a resolution for us to put a levy request on next May's ballot. We are going to be asking for an additional 78 cents per thousand on top of our current $1.24 levy, operating levy. And what this will do, it'll bring us up to having staffing. Right now we have one firefighter on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And Monday through Thursday, we have a 10-hour firefighter. So that leaves Thursday, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays with only one firefighter on duty. And my plan is to, with at least a good chunk of that money, is to be able to bring on a 12-hour firefighter Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So it'll give us daytime coverage. That will allow us to do much more in terms of actual firefighting, getting a little more aggressive. We can use more things, but most importantly, it's going to allow us to immediately staff a second ambulance. This city's well known. I'm sure Steve can speak to that about the long history of volunteerism within the fire department. It's been going on. Well, Vernonia is no different from any other community across the country that our volunteer ranks are severely depleted. Two of our most active volunteers don't even live in Vernonia. One lives in St. Helens, the other one lives in Rainier. They just come up there and spend 10 or 12 hours a week with us, and they're the most active. They want to train, they want to learn, they're doing a great job for us. But let's face it, there's time commitments, there's people that live out of the area, or so that work out of the area, and present some issues. So one of the biggest things that we wanted to do was to address that staffing gap. At least we have a better chance of getting volunteers to come back at nighttime, just not during the daytime. So that's why we're going to address that with that 78% levy. A couple of things that we're going to do is we're going to put away a lot of money towards new apparatus. New fire engine today is $5 million, right on the border of $1 million. The current apparatus that we have right now was a 2001 model, so it's coming up on 25 years old. And the national standard is that they are taken out of service and put it away reserve status at 20 years old. So we're already well past that. And we've been trying to save money for the past several years for quite a while. But currently we have $42,000 in that account. We're a long ways away from getting what we need to do. We did recently get a $242,000 grant from the federal government to purchase new self-contained breathing apparatus. All of ours were expired. We've got new ones coming. But one thing that we're also doing with our money is buy a station to fill our SCBA bottles. We're going to get all these brand new equipment, stuff like that. We have no way to fill them up. We have to take them either to banks or Mist or Scappoose to get our SCBA filled up. So this is just an idea of what we're going to do with that 78 cents per thousand. The unique thing about the 78 cents per thousand, that is going to make our tax rate if passed, identical to that of Scappoose Fire. Well, I'm sorry. The same as Cloud Sky Fire, Columbia River Fire Rescue, and will actually be less than Scappoose Fire. So we're going to get us all to the same number that they have. They obviously have a larger population base, which provides more income that we'll be able to get, but it's going to be a start for us. The last thing I want to tell you is a little bit more of a personal thing, but it's definitely reflective of a healthy community. That is, those of you who don't know, you may know, but for 15 years, up until 2021, I was a reserve deputy sheriff at the Columbia County Sheriff's Office. And I was one of the, I was one of the few deputies that tried to make as much time I could here up in the Vernonia area and spent a lot of time up here. And I've been responded since probably 2 years into my time there. I started here in 2005. And I came up here, and I'm not going to name names, but I wanted to talk to one of the on-duty police officers up here. And I pulled into right in front of the fire station, and he pulled in right. I did our typical cop, door to door, out the window, communication thing you see all the cops doing. And a police officer said, "Hey, look, we need to move." And I said, "What? What's the problem?" Because we two guys. We don't get along here with the fire department. I thought that's just crazy. And over the next 13 years from that point on, I kept hearing about this really, really, really kind of a terrible relationship between the city police department and the fire department. And fortunately, when I was fire chief up here, I noticed that relationship was no more whatsoever. And what I will tell you this is that right now, I believe that the relationship you have between your city police officers and staff at my agency is unparalleled. Absolutely fantastic. I appreciate your officers responding to any calls. They make it happen too. We absolutely appreciate it. If it's a medical call, these guys show up, they're carrying our equipment, they're carrying our journey. They got a gun, that's fine. To have that extra setting on there and being able to help us is fantastic. We invite these guys in to come for turkey dinner on Thanksgiving. We invite them to stop by and share knowledge. Officer Chair was talking today about giving us a class on a personal defense coming up here in the next few months, which is good for our people. And I can tell you that Sergeant Carr and I have a fantastic working relationship as well. Easily able to call each other and get that information exchange and working together. I can't think of any situations that we've had whatsoever. So I will just tell you this, it's a gap in the city that you guys have hired some wonderful, excellent police officers that I believe are totally community oriented. I believe in the goodness. You hear about small town cops all over the world. They're just out there writing million tickets and get up. Not these guys. They'll write tickets when they're necessary, but they're more about solving problems in small community. These guys know how to do it. You guys got great guys working for you. And I just want to make sure that all of you do that. Any questions for me?
What's the projected cost of the pad, of putting the pad
No,
out?
I'm waiting to see on that. I can tell you this, the grant that I'm looking at will probably pay about $25,000. I do not know. I had a conversation. One of the things I'd like to put is lights on it. It's not a necessity, it's a nicety, but it's going to require WOEC to bring a line to us, and will require some trenching and some conduit, things like that. So I don't know. I'm hoping to have that number in the next week or two when these excavator companies that I talked to today will get some numbers back to me. Like I said, I think I can find $25,000 in grant. I got my eyes on grant, and I think we'll pay for it. But that number, I couldn't tell you. Basically, it's just going to be some fill and some grading, and throw some concrete or asphalt down there, and we'll paint it. Anything else?
Well, thank you so much for what you do, Chief, for our community, and especially thank you for commuting all the way from Glasgow. And
I'm glad.
it's awesome.
I have never, I felt very, very, very welcome into this community. I really have. It's been quite an adventure, a great adventure for me. I fully admit that I'm a retired guy. I get my per salary. I will say I don't need to do this, but I keep coming back because I enjoy this place. I enjoy what I'm doing. I enjoy the people I work with so much, so.
And I think what you did with the fire hall and the appearance of it, I've never seen a better fire hall, actually.
I won't take all
I love
the
it.
credit for that because I came in about 2/3, 3/4 of the way through the process on that. And then all the stuff had been picked out. But for example, the lettering got up there. A buddy of mine owns a sign company and I called, that wasn't in the budget to put new signage on it. It was kind of like, that's on your own. And I called a buddy of mine who works for a sign company in Portland. And I said, hey, this is what we want to do. Give me some numbers. And he called me up a week later and sent me some pictures, some ideas of what he wanted to do. Came out and took measurements and sent me pictures. And I said, okay, give me the number. And he said, it's free. We're going to donate it. And I thought that was fantastic. Later on, because we had an audit and they asked what the value was, and he told me $7,500. So we were thrilled. It looks fantastic. We get so many compliments about the looks of that fire station. So it really is really cool.
I think it helps with your morale too.
Absolutely does. I mean, for people that knows what it looked like before, people thought it was the county shops or something like that. No, it really does look like a fire station. It really does. And we're very, very proud of it. We'll just keep doing what we're doing. Our neighbors are a little weird, but that's okay.
Wow. I did have one more question. Does it present a problem with transporting patients that distance rather than more central here? Is that an issue at all?
Actually, the way we look at it this way is that most of the time, Lifeline, when we call it, say we need you here, it's 20 to 25 minutes till we're on the ground. So we're already south of town. So it's happened a few times where Lifeline has started our way and then weather has prevented them from continuing or having to turn around. And so we're already south of town. It's exactly 1 mile off the highway. So we're already south of town. We're already kind of made that time up for us. So not at all. The biggest problem we have was security because there's stories about the 12-year-old kid with a cell phone wanting to get the selfie by the helicopter and they're running out there and the pilot's worst nightmare.
Sure.
And if I don't have anybody there to protect that helicopter, it's a huge liability. And the last thing, and this is the absolute truth, is that when that helicopter comes into town, you look on Facebook, and everybody wants to know who it was, what happened. It's none of your business. Okay, it's really none of your business. A lot of, medical information is confidential and private. We try to respect that. And I don't want people to know that so-and-so tried to commit suicide or something like that. It's not your business. So if we can kind of move the show out of town, then I'm all for it.
On the flip side of that, if you got a small community where a lot of people know everybody, and so that's why you probably get a lot of people wanting to know.
Me too.
I mean,
but that's a challenge for me to
sure.
get HIPAA violations.
Yep.
And, I just don't want to.
I totally understand
I
that.
don't want to go there. So I'd rather just say, we have a medical call. We put a person in Lifeline. That's all I can tell you. I'm sure it'll be on the bulletin board in no time, but it's not going to come from us.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
Thanks.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Josette. And I'll keep you guys posted about what we
Yeah.
and stuff like and I'm sure we'll be talking.
Yeah.
What do you want me to talk to? So.
Yeah, I think we'll just present it to them and probably it'll come to them to authorize me to sign whatever land agreement that stays under kind of your guys' purview for whatever time period we come up with or whatever.
I want to say one thing. I'm trying to complete like your GIS guy. What's his name?
Ben,
Ben from your city made us some custom maps for all big maps, which we've been needing for years. Beautiful maps. Thank you very much, the city.
Yeah.
We really appreciate that. That being said, I'll sit down here for a minute and relax.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, consent agenda for acceptance, Public Works Committee minutes for October 2025.
I move to approve the consent agenda for acceptance.
So moved. Is there a second?
A second.
Seconded by Counselor Norman. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carried. Consent agenda for approval, City Council meeting minutes for November 17th, 2025.
I move to approve the consent agenda for approval.
So moved by Counselor Wagner. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Counselor Norman again. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carried. Any unfinished business tonight? Moving right into new business, staff report. City Hall closure. Go ahead, Joseph.
This one's from me. Weirdly, New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve and New Year's Day and Christmas fall on Wednesday and Thursday. Staff is requesting that we close on the Friday of both of those weeks. Typically, it's whatever one staff member comes and sits here, and we hardly ever have any customers because it's the day after Christmas or the day after New Year's Day, and no one comes in. So they just requested that I make that request. They would be taking their own vacation time or time not paid if they choose to, if you guys approve that.
Okay. And this is something we've done in the past too.
Yeah, in the past, the last time we did it, we took the whole week off because there were 2 days at the beginning and there was like
Depends on
3
when.
days in the middle. Yeah.
Holiday fall.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
on the weekend or one of them's on the weekend, then working most of the week is a normal occurrence. It's when they're weird that we're here for Monday and Tuesday and then Wednesday and Thursday we're not, but then back on Friday and nobody comes in and most of our counterparts aren't in on those days either.
Yeah, I don't have any issues with it. Not at all. So,
I would like to make a motion to close City Hall on Friday, December 26th and Friday, January 2nd.
motion's been made to close those 2 Fridays. Is there a second?
No, second it.
Seconded by Counselor Weller. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Hey,
Aye. Motion carried. Okay. Business from the departments, public or police update.
Okay, if you look at the stats that we get from CCOM, looks like November was a little slow, not by much. We were only at 165 calls for service, but we're still at almost 2,600 for the year. Still managed to get 61 premise checks in, a couple warrant services, and some fire assists. All of our staff completed a 1-hour course. It's Milo for short, but what it is, it's a simulation training. So it's kind of like they play a movie. I don't know, you can read it in my staff report here, but it's a screen and they throw scenarios at you and you have a laser gun and the operator can dictate or change the outcome of the scenario based on the officer's responses to the person. And, that's pretty important to, always have that in the back of your mind because every call is an unknown. So it was really good training. Scappoose Police Department is the one who put it on. They sent one of their sergeants, Jake Anderson, to DPSST, and he's the one that became an instructor. And so they got it for a couple of days. And there was out of the 4 days, I want to say there's 25. So there's officers and deputies that did it. And there was between 15 and 25 scenarios per that hour that they got to experience. So it was pretty good. Officers, like I said, all 4 of us went. So, yeah. Next I completed, County Juvenile Department with the Manual Hospital. They've got a trauma nurse that puts on a MIP class, minor in possession. So it's alcohol, tobacco, or drugs. And all the MIPs usually get sent to the juvenile department. And then the kids and their parents are required to go to these classes go to this class to learn the effects of what alcohol, drugs, or tobacco does to your brain at that age. And so that was a really good class. It was almost 4 hours long. It was pretty good to attend that. And then Officer Schultz participated with the Vernonia Fire Department. DSST came up and they gave a forcible entry training to make entry into houses and stuff like that. So into buildings. So our schedules will be adjusted to accommodate the Christmas parade. And I like to piggyback on Chief Brody's, collaboration with operation between the two departments. It's very important that we work together and we have a good relationship because our closest cover is 35 minutes away on a good day. So, as long as we keep those lines of communication open, to help each other out, that's what we're here for, right? So, Eva had the CGIS audit, which is Criminal Justice Information Audit. Basically, it's the state basically saying, this is what you got to do. You got to keep doing it. And we only had one little minor correction, but that should be fixed by the end of December. So other than that, that's all I've got. Any questions?
Just an observation. So your comment about police and fire department not always getting along. When I first started here, I tried to engage the two of them over something related to flood recovery. And I came away shocked at the response from both of them, which we don't do that. We don't talk to them. Which for me was just beyond understanding, because you're both safety of our community, and why would you not have a collegial relationship? And I have seen it changing, but never heard it out loud. And so thank you. And thank you. And thank you.
Okay, any other questions for? Thank you, Sergeant.
You're welcome.
Okay, Public Works Department update.
So Chris and I realized we didn't give you a first quarter, would have been in October. So he kind of did a combination. He says it's the third quarter. It's the first quarter of the fiscal year. It's the third quarter of the calendar year. So this is his quarter 3 and 4 report. Kind of outlining what Public Works tackled as to this point. And then I do appreciate he remembered to put the key in, because at one point he had the letters, but no key of what they signified, so. And they're getting ready this week to put up all the holiday lights and change out the banners. And then they'll have the Christmas lights on the play shed and the picnic shelter at Spencer.
I like the way you lay it out, Josette. And
Yeah, he does a great job.
does, and
Yeah.
we not only have a good fire department or police department, I think we have one of our best public works departments too.
Yeah, they're a great crew.
Any questions on the Public Works Department data report?
Good.
Okay. No ordinances and resolutions, I believe. Any correspondence? City Administrator report, last page.
Okay, so no change on the DEQ DOJ for the old dump, so I just put no change on that one. Brown is moving through downtown. The meeting that they were supposed to have last Tuesday before Thanksgiving was just canceled, so we didn't have one. We're having one tomorrow. I did put in some requests. They broke the electrical on Madison at the light, so I sent documentation and pictures and broached the subject of how do we get the electrician paid? Because I don't believe it's us. We also gave them the request to do the Missouri side intersection ramps during the winter break of the school so that their crew wouldn't be hassled and the public wouldn't be hassled trying to get buses and kids and parents in and out of there twice a day during the weekdays because they only work weekdays. And then they had a lamp post here with the grade of the sidewalk where the base comes down, the base sits on a flange, so it couldn't come down any farther, and there's like a big gap. They've since kind of collared that with concrete to make it look nice, because that was bugging me. And we'll see what they think about our requests on tomorrow. We've located, Westo called me last week, and we put in for a locate for the electrical for the placement of the pole for the cameras. And they were going to mark that, and then we have the pole, so once Mitch gets a window of good weather where it's not rainy, he'll auger that and get that base put in so that we can have the pole attached and get the cameras on. The SDC study, so the goal is to have that to be posted on the 15th of December. That would put bid closing at January 15th of 2026. And then it outlines that the timeline for the completion of the study would be April 15th. That's the study to basically look at our comprehensive plan, our parks master plan, our transportation systems plan, and come up with what skin in the game payment should be for someone building a new home or a new building, right? So that ours have not been updated since they were installed. I think it's 10,847 as a base.
8,000.
Well, I think, but that I'm adding the connections on. So yeah, it's like 8,000, which is just way too low. It doesn't really help us put pots of money for the future capacity. Are in that request for bids, we're also asking for them to put a percentage schedule in there so that at some percentage each year, we would just increase them to stay in line, to not fall into this place, similar to what we did with water and sewer, where we have a calculator now that just kind of helps us spit out how to stay in line with budget and the cost of things. So that should be done by April 15th. So then those new numbers could be put into the budget as an estimation. You know how we budget, like we're going to build 6 houses each year, and that money's in and out in the SDC fund of the budget. I did get notice that we were successful in our grant application for the feasibility study for the water intake through the Sustainable Infrastructure Planning Project. So it looks like it'll be February of 26 by the time we have all the contracts signed, and then Robert can get started on working on that feasibility of how to either armor Brock Creek or deepen the intake or put in a redundant intake, and what the feasibility of all those are, so we know what project we would be going forward with to solve the problem of the creek. We're chasing the creek, basically. Every time we have high water, the gravel bar in the middle gets higher and the water goes to the other side. And for our water plant, we need it closest to us. And then I just have that the Spirit of Christmas is the 13th. Go get your pancakes at the firehouse from 8 to 11. And then you can always see the police at the inflatable race that will start the parade, the inflatable outfit people at 5:15, 5:30.
5:15.
Yeah. So it should be good. Everyone's getting excited for that festival. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Josette, one thing you might add for this month is looking into the federal funding for State Street that we were.
Oh, sure.
denied. And so
Re-up with them,
maybe get a hold of
Salvo?
Gustavo and see what we need to do to get our ducks in a row. I think we can reapply for in January. So I want to kind of be prepared for that.
Okay.
Any other questions? Dale, do you have anything?
For city administrator or for off from council?
Either for the city administrator or from council.
Oh, do
Either.
you have any questions for City administrator?
No.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, Joseph.
Sure.
So, items from the mayor and councilors.
I have one, Rick.
Okay, go ahead.
I really like the light on the flagpole at the lake.
Oh, that they finally got it up and aimed at it? Yeah.
Yes.
I just noticed
That really
it today.
sticks out.
Oh, good.
I noticed it a while back, but there wasn't much wind, but the other night the wind and it was just shining
Oh,
and
good.
it was hanging out there. So
Yeah,
it lights right up.
Nice.
Great.
yeah.
That was a good job somebody got accomplished.
Mitch, I'll let him know.
Okay.
So back to the ADA ramps.
Yeah.
Does it look like they'll be complete or
By the end of the year,
January?
I think they'll end up.
Okay.
January.
Okay,
They still have some over here. They still have Missouri, Texas, Spencer, Heather, and Cherry.
yeah,
They
okay.
still have a few. But I'm hoping they'll be out of the downtown core by the end of the year, which will be nice.
Yep, okay.
Narrow down here.
All right, well, thank you again, and we'll move right into action item summary.
Did Dale have something from items?
Oh, Dave?
Yeah, I was just gonna mention, I did my annual walkthrough in the McNair Forest for tree survival. And we're a little bit over 91% survival. So not bad.
Good.
Nice. I like it. Means I don't have to buy very many new ones.
Thank you, Dale, for doing that. Yep. Okay, action item summary.
Okay, so we're going to post the closure for the 2 Fridays of Christmas and New Year's Day. And I'm going to get in contact with Gustavo and see what paperwork or what we need to do to start sending them documents to try and get some money earmarked for us again.
And then on the helo pad,
Yeah, I'll be bringing that whenever Greg gets a plan together and we get into a map, then we'll all draft an agreement because you guys would authorize me to sign an agreement with the fire department to designate this area to their use for some period of time. And renewable, blah, blah, blah.
yeah. All right. Well, nothing else, so thank everyone for attending tonight. Thank you again, Greg. Greg, for your information, and I'll adjourn this meeting at 7:07 PM. Meeting adjourned.